Oh my goodness. Peace, 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 peace. Peace, dear hearts, dear minds, dear souls. How are you? I pray you are immensely well. I am as I'm just overjoyed. I'm very grateful. I'm very still in this moment. My spirit is very still. My mind is very still. I am with you 100%, and I am joyous in this moment, and I am very grateful. And I just want to say a prayer to the One Most High that the message I am called and being sent to give reaches far and wide. That those who are able to hear me today, who are able to tune in, can tune in and with open heart and open mind receive. I pray that I move forward with open heart and open mind to give, and that the community that we're building here grows. I'm so grateful and in awe and in praise of the Almighty for all the many blessings. All this I pray. Oh, praise God. That's what Tua means, to praise God. I like to roll my R's. It just sounds pretty that way. Who knows how it was said back in ancient times. But I'd like to believe that since Nedu Neter was a spiritual language, that they took care to give it emphasis and to give it power with their tongues and their hearts and their minds. Whew, what a beautiful day. I'm a little backlit today, so I'm looking a little hazy when I look at myself on the screen, but that's okay. As long as the message is given and received with love, that's all that matters. So welcome back to Ready to Love with LadyBlack, LightWorker. I'm here to just bring joy and bring light to your life, to prayerfully be a guide and to prayerfully be a messenger, to allow myself to be used as a vessel. And that's all. That's it. That's all. Today's message is a continuation of last week's. Excuse me. I thought I was going to sneeze. Today's message is a continuation of last week's, where we were discussing the contract that we have with the Most High. And it's extremely important that we discover ourselves on this journey, this spiritual journey that we're having in human form is a discovery of self. It's a discovery of spirit. It's a discovery of the Most High, and it's a discovery of our oneness with the Most High. And it's a discovery, very importantly, it's a discovery of, excuse me, it's a discovery of the contract that we made with the Most High even before we were placed in this body and birthed into this world. Simply put, you are spirit, you are infinite. Simply put, you came before. Simply put, you are here in the beginning and you will be here in the end, because your spirit will never die. That part of you that the Creator gave you and blessed you with, that the Creator blew his breath, her breath into you and animated you, and you became a living flesh that was filled with spirit. And you came here with purpose. You came here for a reason. And that contract that you came here for, that reason, that purpose was written before you were born. Understand that the only reason why you are here in this flesh is to discover exactly why you were put into the flesh in the first place and to live that purpose. I've been called to speak. I've always been a talkative person. Who knew why I was given the gift of gab? Who knew why I was given the ability to articulate and break things down? Who knew why I was just a chatterbox throughout my youth? And now I know why. It's because I am to sit still and listen and feel and hear what the Creator has for me to say, and I am to say it. That being said, why are you here? What have you been up to unknowingly since the beginning of your existence in this world? What is your purpose and what is your reason for coming here? These are questions that you ask yourself, but you don't have time to even know to ask yourself this if you are still attached to the world. You don't know that you have the time, that you need the time to sit with self if you are still running on the hamster wheel. Yes, I'm still overcoming a little cold, so bear with me. You don't know that you should sit and be still because you're constantly running. You don't know that you have attached yourself to things that do not serve you and do not serve the world and do not serve your purpose because you're constantly doing. You're constantly moving in a direction that you were assigned to after being born by the world. And the world has a purpose. The world is a reflection. The world is to be used to your advantage. The world is to be used to teach you lessons and to advance you physically. But the world is not where you're from, and the world is not where you should live. It's not where we are intended to live. We are intended to live in the spirit. We are intended to live in the spiritual realm. And while we are here on earth, we are intended to find the balance so that we can fulfill our purpose for being here and return to spirit. And you return to spirit not through death. We return to spirit through the choices we make and how we live our lives. I used to attach the full understanding of my purpose and living it to death. I used to attach it because I had a fear of death due to childhood trauma, and I associated peace and quiet and calmness to death. And what I realize now is that peace, quiet, and calmness, purpose, and living in your purpose joyously is only the beginning of life. We spend so much time running in the wrong direction. We spend so much time attaching more and more and more things, material things, responsibilities that are not necessarily ours, whether it be because we're a people pleaser or because we're perfectionists or high achievers, or some of us do the exact opposite. Some of us run away from everything because it's overwhelming. Many of us run away from things, live in an isolated way, or just do the bare minimum because we feel like we are less than because we're not able to achieve what other people can achieve in a specific period of time or in a certain way. And either dynamic, both ways of living, whether we're living running away from the world or whether we're living so attached to the world, either way we're attached to the world. Either way, we're measuring our self-worth by the world and what we're able to accomplish or not accomplish in it. But the purpose of the world is not to gain accolades, not to gain notoriety, not to gain quote unquote accomplishments that are deemed worthy in the world. The purpose of the world is to learn. The purpose of the world is to discover yourself. The purpose of the world is to be a reflection of you, both emotionally and mentally and spiritually. When we live in the world in such a way, we are so attached to the actual physical world, we forget that we are spiritual beings. And when you live in the world knowing that you are first spirit, then you can truly appreciate the beauties that are in the world, and you can put things in their proper place. When you live in the world in fear, or when you live in the world overindulging, or when you live in the world constantly trying to win the rat race, for your ego, we tend to forget that the purpose of the experiences that we are having is to build our spirit. It's to open our spirit up to the realization, the understanding of who we truly are. When we live in the world and we do not see the flowers bloom, if we live in this world and we do not see shooting stars, if we live in the world and we do not see human interaction as a way of healing and a way of loving and a way of really being fulfilled, when we live in the world trying to attach ourselves to so many worldly things, we forget that we had a purpose when we got here. So this is why I tell you, or this is why it's being given to me to share with you, to stop running the rat race. Get off the hamster wheel. Observe all of the things you've attached yourself to, and start to take them off of your plate. Stop trying to be a perfectionist. Stop running away from responsibilities. Stop taking on more responsibility than you should have. The two dynamics that both take you to the same place, which is either overwhelm or depression. Take a moment to be still and ask yourself, what do you need and what do you truly want? Some of us are so bombarded and so overwhelmed with the attachments we've made to ourselves in the world that we don't even hear our spirit. We don't even feel our spirit. We think that that is what we're here for. And I hope that you have come here today to make a change in your life. I pray that you have come here today to make a shift. Today, I want you to observe 3 moments in your day where you would not have paid attention to the joy and the beauty of the world had you not decided to make a shift, had you not heard a message, whether it was from me or whether I'm just confirming a message that you heard elsewhere. But take the time, 3 times today, I want you to take the time to stop and observe the world and see it for what it truly is, which is an expression of spirit. Nothing exists but God, Jenyame. And when we look at the world from the lens of spirit, the whole world opens up to us. And you can feel the flowers looking back at you. You can hear the baby's crying or the baby's laughter in all its beauty. You can see how you've deviated from your true self, and you can begin to find the contract that's written on your spirit that existed way before you were born, that existed when you were given the charge to come into the world. You start to find that contract. You'll find bits and pieces of it, and then eventually you'll see and be able to read your truth, your purpose, your reason, and you'll start to work towards fulfilling that. It could be something so small, but that small thing can have great impact in the lives of others, and you never know how fulfilling your dream impacts and has a ripple effect throughout the world. I mean, your contract with the Most High was signed, sealed, and delivered. And it seems, words make it seem so easy. You know, all you have to do is detach, but that's not necessarily very easy. But when you're determined to make the shift, when you're determined to detach yourself from the worldly things that have overwhelmed you, or that have bombarded you, or that have pulled the wool over your eyes so that you couldn't see the real, true self, so that you couldn't see the real, true, living God in everything. It's not easy, but you have to decide to do it. You have to decide to make that shift. If you're like me, you're in your 40s, and maybe it's been a long time that you've been walking in the wrong direction, and you might look back and think, it's a long way back to me. And you might find comfort in your discomfort. You might find fear in your new knowledge of not feeling or not knowing exactly who you are. You may find confusion. All of these are normal feelings. The journey back to yourself might be long. It might be shorter than you think. It might feel uncomfortable. But the alternative is to keep running on the rat race, to keep running on the hamster wheel, to keep denying yourself, denying your truth, and living in the world, absorbed by the world, and unfulfilled. So yeah, it might be hard. It might be hard to go back. It might be hard to go forward in a different direction. It might be daunting. It might feel daunting. It might feel uncomfortable. These are all normal feelings. But we start the journey. We start walking in the right direction. When the light comes on and you see the tunnel of darkness with the light at the end of it, and your spirit calls out to the light, you must take a step, just one step at a time, toward the light. And everything else will begin to fall into place when you get there, or when you get there. The path is the journey. The journey is the goal. The goal is the discovery. And the discovery is you. I'm just waiting to know if we're done. I'll see you next week. God is so good. I'll see you next week. We'll continue the conversation. I'm here to encourage you. And I pray that we begin to discuss in the comments what we're learning. If there's any questions, if you question something I've said, ask me. If you question something you feel, put it in the comments. We can discuss it. Other than that, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for your life. I'm praying for you to discover yourself. I'm praying for you to have the courage to walk, to take one step. And go discover those 3 beautiful things in the world that had you not made the shift, you would not recognize. And come back and put it in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, share with your friends. Let's grow our community. I love you. Peace.